Welcome to the Explainer. Right now, out on the highways, there is an invisible but incredibly high-stakes battle going on every single summer. On one side, you've got transport refrigeration units, the absolute lifeline for perishable freight. And on the other side, we have the relentless, unforgiving force of the Dallas, Texas heat. You know, if you're moving temperature-sensitive cargo through the Metroplex, the summer sun isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's actually a structural threat to your equipment, and ultimately, your bottom line.
Okay, let's dive into this. When temperatures regularly climb past that 100-degree Fahrenheit mark, the heat becomes the ultimate enemy of your cargo. Even a meticulously maintained unit is going to be pushed to its absolute mechanical limits out there. We aren't just talking about some poorly serviced machine breaking down, we're talking about a completely hostile environment. These reefer units literally have to work harder here in Dallas than almost anywhere else in the entire country.
To conquer this environment, we've got a really clear roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover the Dallas Heat Challenge, the actual anatomy of a breakdown, spotting early warning signs, emergency protocols, and finally, the preventative solution. Let's get right into it.
First up, the Dallas Heat Challenge. I really want you to think of a transport refrigeration unit not just as a piece of machinery, but almost like a fighter that's constantly pushing back against its environment. Its entire job is to maintain a set internal temperature, totally regardless of the scorching outside air. But as you can imagine, that job gets exponentially harder as the temperature climbs. The unit actually has to release its own heat into that 100-degree ambient air. And man, that is one tough uphill battle.
Now, you've also got to consider the massive difference in wear and tear based purely on the route. On one hand, you have long-haul units. They're cruising at steady highway speeds, taking on moderate wear. But contrast that with urban delivery units operating right in the heart of Dallas. These local units are battling not just that 100-plus degree heat, but severe stop-and-start traffic, heavy road dust, constant vibration, and significantly higher operating hours. Because they're racking up hours so much faster while navigating the city grid, the wear and tear hits them way earlier. It is quite literally a perfect storm for mechanical stress.
So what happens when that stress is just too much? That brings us to Section 2, the anatomy of a breakdown. This is where we look at the literal cause and effect happening inside the machine when the heat finally wins.
We really have to start with this critical concept, a high discharge pressure shutdown. It sounds super technical, but it's one of the most common alarms you'll see on both Thermo King and Carrier Transit Cold units around here. So the crucial point is that this isn't just the machine failing, it's actually the machine trying to protect itself. When the refrigerant inside the system can't release its heat fast enough, the internal pressure skyrockets way past safe operating ranges. So to prevent catastrophic, totally unrepairable damage to the compressor, the controller essentially pulls the plug. It just shuts the whole unit down.
Let's walk through the exact domino effect that triggers that shutdown. Step 1. The condenser coil, sitting right at the front of the unit, gets clogged up with road dust, bugs, and just general debris. Step 2. Because it's completely blocked, the refrigerant can't efficiently shed heat into the outside air anymore. Step 3. As that heat gets trapped, the discharge pressure builds dangerously high. And Step 4. The controller trips that emergency shutdown we just talked about. Now, in mild weather, a slightly dirty coil might not be a huge deal, but in the Dallas heat, there is absolutely zero margin for error. The system is going to hit that high-pressure alarm incredibly fast.
But hey, dirty coils aren't the only culprits we're dealing with. We've got two other major breakdown triggers to watch out for. First is low refrigerant. Refrigerant is basically the vehicle that carries the heat away. If you have a slow leak that went undetected back in the spring, you're going to see a gradual loss of cooling capacity. The unit might have limped along fine in cooler weather, but summer heat, that pushes it right over the edge. Second, we have an overworked compressor. The compressor is the absolute core of the system. In extreme heat, it's running harder and continuously at max load. If that fails, well, you are looking at one of the most incredibly expensive, frustrating roadside failures possible.
But there's good news. These massive failures almost never happen overnight. Let's move to Section 3, spotting the warning signs. The real secret to surviving the summer is catching the mechanical distress early, long before the machine actually forces a shutdown.
So here's your checklist of subtle warning signs. If you see temperatures drifting above the set point, even while the unit is running, major red flag. If the unit is running continuously without cycling off to rest, it is definitely struggling. You also want to keep an eye out for high or low pressure alarms flashing on the controller, or any unusual knocking sounds coming from the compressor. Even unexplained spikes in fuel consumption or ice buildup on the evaporator coil that just won't clear during defrost, those are huge warnings. Spotting these signs days or even weeks in advance is vital, because waiting until a mid-haul shutdown occurs,
that costs a massive amount of time, repair money, and worst of all, lost cargo.
But let's say the absolute worst happens. You didn't catch it in time, or maybe the heat was just too intense. The alarm rings, the unit dies mid-route. What exactly should a driver do in that critical, high-stakes moment?
That brings us to Section 4, Emergency Protocols. When you're sitting stranded at a truck stop in the blazing sun with a silent reefer unit and thousands of dollars of perishable goods in the back, panic is simply not an option. You need direct, actionable steps. So here are the 3 non-negotiable rules. 1. Keep the trailer doors completely closed. 2. Note the exact alarm code displayed. And 3. Do not repeatedly reset the unit. And this brilliantly illustrates why you have to fight your own instincts. Human nature screams at you, I have to open the doors to check on the load. Seriously, don't do it. Every single time those doors open, 100-degree air rushes right in, raising the internal temperature instantly and ruining the cargo. Keep them shut to buy yourself time. As for resetting the unit, look, 1 reset to see if it clears is fine, but doing it over and over just masks the underlying problem and can drastically accelerate damage to the compressor. Just write down the alarm code so the technician knows exactly what they're walking into.
So how do we avoid that panic altogether? Let's hit Section 5, the preventative solution. Instead of reacting to a disaster, we want to proactively eliminate the threat by getting some professional support. Here is the ultimate fix. The absolute most cost-effective way to survive a Texas summer is a full preventative maintenance, or PM, visit before the severe heat even arrives. For units running those brutal urban routes, you might even need this quarterly. And hey, if you take only one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. Cleaning the condenser coil is the single most important step in that visit. Remember that domino effect we discussed earlier? A clean coil completely breaks that chain. It ensures the system can actually shed heat efficiently and keep internal pressures in a safe range.
Now, when things do go wrong out there, speed is absolutely everything. 45. That number is huge. 45 minutes is the target response time for Texas Reefer Solutions anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. When your unit goes down and the temperature inside that trailer is slowly ticking upward, knowing a technician is aiming to be on site in under an hour, that is the ultimate peace of mind.
Let's see how this fits into their overall service structure. Texas Reefer Solutions is uniquely equipped to save the day. They are available 24/7. We're talking nights, weekends, holidays, it really doesn't matter. They use fully equipped mobile service trucks, which basically means the repair shop comes directly to you. And this part is absolutely vital. They carry parts for both of the major brands, Thermo King and Carrier Transicold. Because they have the right parts right there on hand, most of these emergency repairs can be knocked out in a single on-site visit, getting you right back on the road before the load is lost.
Well, we've covered a lot today. The brutal reality of the Dallas environment, the mechanics behind those high-pressure failures, the subtle warning signs, and the ultimate preventative fixes. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Knowing the extreme mechanical toll of Dallas summers, is your reefer unit truly prepared right now, or is it really just waiting for the heat to shut it down? Look, don't leave your cargo up to chance. Catch those warning signs early. Get that condenser coil cleaned, and make for sure you have a reliable service partner on speed dial. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay cool out there on the road.